We can now confirm without any doubt that Vladimir Putin is the most intelligent, smartest leader, master chess player of geopolitics that has ever existed in our generation. We will talk about Putin for centuries to come. You cannot show me in this time, in this generation, a man who can stand with Vladimir Putin or who can compete with him in terms of geopolitics. As soon as it was announced that Trump was going to meet with Vladimir Putin, the entire world was trembling. Journalists were coming from all over the world just to try to go meet both leaders, but to hear from Vladimir Putin. These are the same people who call him a criminal, but as soon as they hear that this man has to be somewhere, they're ready to spend their time, their money, everything you can imagine just to go see him. The amount of money they spent to travel there, getting plane ticket at the last minute, the amount of visas that the US consulate all over the world had to give only for this event is unbelievable, all right? So Donald Trump is probably not a geopolitic expert, right, when it comes to standing up with Vladimir Putin. However, Trump is not dumb. Watch how the Trump administration, the current US government, receive leaders that they view at the same level as the United States, great powers. And this is how they receive puppets, leaders. Now, I got another video for you. Watch how the US administration treat leaders who are at the same level as the United States. Watch.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
Mr. Putin, will you agree to a ceasefire?
Thank you, press.
And here's how they treat puppet leaders. Watch this.
And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
wearing
they
respect.
should have.
My favorite is the picture that makes the mainstream propaganda media go wild and crazy, right? This is it. You cannot give me, right, the name of another leader who has ever entered the beast. The beast is the car of the president of the United States. Let me tell you, you know what? I'm wrong. There's another leader who entered the beast before, and watch this video. Medvedev, another leader of the Russian Federation, all right? That comes to tell you how Russia is viewed by the United States. Even when you hear them talk about all of that stuff, calling names and all of that stuff, the United States of America, doesn't matter what president, right? Look at Russia as a superpower. One thing about Trump that you need to understand is that he has decided not to be a dumb leader. Bush, met with Putin, right? When he wanted to play with Putin, when it comes to the Georgia war, Putin humiliated him. He left. Then Obama came up with the reset button, right? Yeah, we want to reset with Russia. By the time he left, he got humiliated, and he was so hurt that he kicked out some Russian diplomats. And Putin humiliated him even more because Putin said, oh, well, I'm not going to respond to that. I'll wait until Donald Trump comes. Man, you talk about humiliation. Biden came, got humiliated with the Ukraine war. He thought, with all the sanctions, Russia was going to last a few months and it capitulated. Wrong. Russia is still going strong, right? Look, we don't need any proof. Just watch Alaska, right? Now Trump is coming back to like, you know what? I may not be, right, the greatest politician, right, who can handle, Putin, but I'm not dumb. I'm not going to take the same road as these, people who, the puppets who came right before me. I'm not going to do that. So you can call Trump whatever you want to call him. The way that he received Putin in Alaska, it was smart and intelligent. Oh, yes. Right? Now, let's talk about the decisions that were made in Alaska about Ukraine. What is it that was said that we don't know? Let me just tell you straight up because, the mainstream media will never tell you because they're not focused on doing analysis. They are emotional. Putin told Trump, I know you want a Nobel Peace Prize. The only person standing between you and your prize is Zelensky. It's either you tell him to sign a deal where he's going to ask his troop to leave the Donbass, right? If he doesn't want to do that, fire him and get the new puppets to come in there and agree that he's just going to sign this deal and we are going to stop all hostilities. That is why Zelensky is coming to Washington. Trump already made it very clear. He said, no, the ball is on Zelensky's court. They're going to tell him straight up, hey, look, you either going to sign a deal to remove your troops so that we can, head into a real peace, or we're just going to fire you. You make a choice. Now, my last message goes to the mainstream propaganda media because they're the one who are extremely upset. They're even more upset than the EU. I think that you were treated exactly the way you were supposed to be treated. You, the mainstream propaganda media, right? Because your hypocrisy doesn't have a name anymore. You spent all that money to come and try to think you were going to disrespect a world leader like Vladimir Putin, calling him a world criminal who won it by the kangaroo court, right? Look, let me remind you something. Putin is not the only one who, the ICC, fake court, put an arrest warrant for. Remember Netanyahu? Yeah, I bet you don't remember, do you? Because we never hear you talking about the crimes that Netanyahu is committing in Gaza. You're quickened to open your loud mouth to call Vladimir Putin a world criminal. Maybe because the killings are done by your ally in Gaza. That's why you barely talk about it. If we compare the amount of reports that you put out when it comes to the Ukraine conflict versus Gaza conflict, the Ukraine conflict is number one. The way that Trump and Vladimir Putin treated you in Alaska is well-deserved because of your hypocrisy. You are a shame to journalism. That's what you are. And you deserve exactly what you got. Bottom line, right? You want to report on something? Report on Gaza. Do you know how many people died in Gaza the same day that you were heckling Vladimir Putin? Do you know how many? I bet you don't, because you don't care. Instead of you to cry and boo-boo cry, right, about, how they didn't allow you to ask any question and stuff like that, start to recognize that you are a failure when it comes to media and journalism. Your hypocrisy is not even hidden. You're not even hiding it. The day that you are going to stand up for the truth and report what is right, then you won't be disappointed. Donald Trump did exactly what he needed to do. It's better for him to at least be embarrassed just so that I can stop sending the billions of dollars of taxpayers to the corrupt Ukraine. I am thankful for that.